So, I always say it's really important to be really careful what you say, especially online, especially that, we've passed 7,000 viewers on this channel, which is absolutely incredible. And thank you to all the people that have subscribed and watched me, by the way. Thank you so much. It's generally actually quite incredible. I am genuinely just blown away by the support that I get from you guys. It's generally incredible. However, now that my reach is growing, I am going to have to be really careful about what I say. And this doesn't just go for smaller channels like me. This should almost be standard for people bigger than me, people with like hundreds of thousands of views on their channel, because you may inadvertently support, get someone may take your words and just, go do something very unfortunate. And this goes doubly, especially, or what you think should go doubly, for someone who is the Home Secretary, aka Priti Patel, because she has recently been going on quite a ridiculous offensive ever since the Conservative Party conference, where she went after activist lefty lawyers and the do-gooders. This is quite dangerous rhetoric, and quite rightly so. A lot of people called her out on it. However, she did continue in this, and unfortunately, guess what's happened? Well, I won't leave you guessing. We'll go exactly through what happened. This comes from the London School, the London Economic, and it's the title of the article is Priti Patel ignored pleas to stop activist lawyers screed after knife attack. Home Secretary Secretary Priti Patel ignored warnings from at least 2 senior colleagues to stop targeting immigration lawyers after a knifeman tried to kill a solicitor last month. Lord Chancellor Robert Buckland and Attorney General Serena Berthman both intervened after the attack. The Observer also revealed to tell Patel that her targeting of the legal profession had already inspired an attack and could have killed a solicitor. So, as you can see, even innocently, and this type of rhetoric, even if spoken of innocently, trying to, target people, can have severe ramifications. This is why, people have to be careful about what they're talking about and what they're really saying. Because especially people with large platforms like that should have, especially someone who is an MP, should have at least the common sense to understand the ramifications of attacking, and going after and using this, as they said here, as a screed against lefty lawyers. You had a solicitor whose life was put in danger because of this. And this is just absolutely unacceptable. And I just want to go over this, how you may have not even have heard of this actually happening. This is what's really worrying about it. But also at the same time, I'm also glad that it hasn't come to more prominence, because this could equally, attract, more, well, there's no easy term to say it, but wackos to do the same thing. And so I understand why it hasn't got publication, but this is something that we have to talk about and bring to people's attention, because when especially politicians do attacks like this, their words have, actions. This is why we've always said most of our racism in the UK could really be sorted out if you just deplatform Nigel Farage. I mean, it's true, because lots of people act off his words and just assume that it's somehow fine to go out and, racially abuse and assault people of ethnic minorities because, they've been encouraged by Nigel Farage, even though they won't actively come out and say it. This is, and you look at what they're listening to, who they're, what they're reading on their like social media. This is the path. Unfortunately, we have to be really careful about this. So we have to call out people when, like Priti Patel, when she does stuff like this, that hey, you can't do that because that's really dangerous. Just as many people, you may remember, back when the Daily Telegraph targeted the judges over the Gina Miller case and things like that. So we have to be really careful and call out these people, because then it does, in some way, discourage these people, showing them that there's actually not as much support for their actions as they really think there are. So anyway, it continues. So both reportedly asked Patel to stop her attacks on the legal professions, warning that her rhetoric could lead to more violence after the incident on the 7th of September, when an armed man with a large heavy-duty knife entered a London law firm and embarked on a what was a, quote, racist, violent attack that injured a staff member. But Patel ignored the pleas of her colleagues, and in her speech to the Tory party conference on the 4th of October, ramped up her targeting of do-gooders and lefty lawyers. Boris Johnson would go further 2 days later, claiming that the criminal justice system was being hamstrung by lefty human rights lawyers. The paper cites legal sources who confirmed that Buckland and Bravemans first requested that Patel desist 2 days after the knife attack, and after officials from the Bar Council and the Law Society had got in touch to pass on their concerns. The message was to please help us. This can't go on. Speak to the Home Secretary and tell her not to keep going on with this because it's putting people's lives at risk. They're also specifically told that the Home Office and that this is really serious, a source told The Observer. Buckland is believed to have been particularly put out by Patel's attacks, telling a Law Society event last week that no one should be vilified for doing their job. Whatever we be, public servants or professionals or in private practice. He added that lawyers play an important role in upholding the law, representing their clients and sometimes their political views, and encouraging and ensuring that people have access to justice. I and this government are absolutely clear that any form of violence or abuse against lawyers is utterly unacceptable. The law firm attack came just days after Patel claimed that activist lawyers were frustrating efforts to remove migrants. Responsibility and accountability for this attack, in the eyes of the firm, lies squarely at the feet of Priti Patel, the firm said. A 28-year-old man has been charged with possession of and making threats with a bladed article in a public place, racially aggravating public disorder, assault, and making threats to kill in connection with the 7th of the September attack. So, yeah, this is just insane, but it just goes to show you, when you have a platform, you have to be really careful what you say and what you are saying. And just as there, Priti Patel just said, that her efforts were being stopped by, lefty lawyers. And it resulted in a knife attack on a law firm. This is really important that, as we've always said, words do have meaning. And sometimes you can carry unintended consequences into what you say. And unfortunately, this is the most extreme example. But you'd think that someone in the position of Priti Patel, the Home Secretary, would know better than to just start spouting off this nonsense. And it is very reassuring that there are at least people in government who recognise what she said was wrong and at least took her to task on it, which is good. So, anyway, thank you for watching. Please do hit that like and share button. If you are new, please do hit that subscribe button as well. Also, down below, there's a link to my Patreon and one-off donation link, should you like to support the channel that way. Thank you to the people that do support the channel that way. It is very much appreciated. And of course, we'll see you all next time.